Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're doing a follow up reaction here on Form of Therapy. My name is PD, and we're checking out Uno by MADEIN. And this is the natural version, as they are titling it, for MADEIN's debut music video. Their debut music video was rather controversial, and AI gets a bit of a controversial rap nowadays, but that's not even why it was so controversial. It was also that it was just straight up bad AI. I mean, I'm sure if they incorporated AI, it would have been controversial regardless, but it certainly didn't add to the music video. It definitely detracted away from it. And so there was a promise of a recut, removing the AI scenes. And I actually had some comments about the music video, regardless of the AI scenes, about the quality of it. And I'm very curious as to when removing that, because it was actually a substantial amount of the video that was the AI stuff was a part of the video. I'm curious as to how they cut around that. I'm curious as to what kind of footage they then replaced it with. So, yeah, let's check out Uno. Oh, the color grading is actually different. It's not. Oh. Why is the color grading for the opening shot so vastly different from the rest of the video? I see, because it's drone footage. Okay.
See the fireworks 내가 알 수 있게 올라가는 불꽃들이 looking like flowers to me yeah 밤바다를 밝게 비춰 너의 눈이 도대체 말이 몇 개니 잠깐 time 자세히 보니 you got wings flutter fly 도망가지 말아줘 ay run on chicken run 따라 있을 때만 you got my seven dim 한 번만 모른 척 해주면 안 되니 5, 6, 7, 8 Uno, dos 잠시 멈춰
God damn, song is still fantastic.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho 우리만 남아있어 running too fast
Interesting, so there was more B-roll of this male actor.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho Why you keep chasing after us lately? Yeah, 놔줘 지금이야 끝나 별일이 Watch me out, babe, we got no plans 도망가지 말아줘, ay run on chicken run 따라 있을 때만 you got my seven dim 한 번만 모른 척 해주면
The rendering in that scene is very strange.
눈꼭 감고 잠시 멈춰 Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho We can flow into this vibe, yeah 별이 있는 자리 위에 그려 우릴 알려줘 무슨 말을 원해도 time 자세히 보니 you got wings fly Looking like flowers to me then 밤바다를 밝게 비춰 너의 눈이 이제는 놔줄 때야 너가 닮은 spell Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho Wait 우리만 남아있어 running too fast 잠시 내 손을 잡고 구름 뒤 Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho Wait 그 손을 넘어 우리 running too fast 그냥 내 손을 잡고 하늘 위에 Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho
I don't think this last shot was in the original music video. Okay. So, oh, that's fascinating. Let's talk about this. Okay. I would say this video is definitely a vast improvement from the original including those AI scenes, but I can also understand why they included the AI scenes. Now, do I approve of the fact that they included it? Absolutely not. We're not going to go down into a rabbit hole of whether or not my feelings regarding AI and art and creativity, especially in terms of filmmaking in general. Rather than discussing the ethics of that, even if, let's say, ethically it is okay, it just was not good. Okay. But I understand why they did it. All right. And to understand why they did it is to watch the natural version. And it's because, well, there frankly isn't enough. There frankly isn't enough going on in even the natural version of the music video. This was something that I noticed even in the initial reaction of the original cut of the video. And it's very obvious now as to why they added the AI scenes, because it was a cheap alternative to add a little bit more spectacle into the music video. It's a very flat music video, both visually, quite literally, the color grading is extremely flat, as well as in terms of just momentum, direction, and stuff happening. Mind you, I think it's just a budget issue. I don't want to say it's even poor filmmaking, but there is also a bit of a divide. I actually think the director is a half decent director and is actually not a bad director. I think there's a lack of budget, which is a huge problem. I think at least the ideas are good on what the director was going for. Lacked money, but also I don't know if this was how small this video team and this crew was. The skill, and there is a bit of a skill issue that I'm also noticing on the video team production side. And so let's dive a little bit deep into it. So let's start actually why I'm saying this director is actually a half decent director and why the ideas are good. I mean, you're seeing stuff with like this flying letter going throughout the video, this paper folded bird. There's a lot of beautiful ideas inserted into the video. So on a very creativity level wise, I think it's actually quite touching. And even the shots, as you see the paper plane like flying throughout the video, there's even a shot of the drone going through the park as Mashiro's chasing the bird / letter, right? I think a lot of that is very inspired. In fact, the idea might be a little bit too big in comparison to what they were able to pull off on such a limited budget. I think the drone was a mistake. One, the drone is extremely overused in this music video, and you don't want to do that, especially when it comes to non-traditional filmmaking, when it comes to whether it's AI, whether it's CG, whether it's drone footage, whether it's the Bolt robot arm that you see in some of the music videos that has like the digital camera movements and such. You want to use it not just sparingly, because sometimes you can overuse it. You want to use it intentionally. And it feels like rather than it being intentional, they just had a lot of drone footage. And they didn't use it carefully. But going back to one of the things that I like, I really like the ending of this music video. I really like the emotions that are being evoked during these shots right here. Let's watch it real quick. Oh, actually, that's a little too late. It's more like here. That moment right there, when the vocal parts of the wait, beyond the line, we are running too fast. This portion of the song and the music video feels very euphoric. It's when the very fast paced instrumental comes to a slow roll. It feels. I don't even know how to describe this emotion, but it does send this kind of like shivers down your spine. And this opening, or I guess not this opening shot, but this ending shot of I believe this is Mashiro putting on the headphones. This like cinematic, locked off, like long focal length, wide shot. I could tell that this was definitely an envisioned shot. Like they had an idea going into this music video, and this was one of the shots that they definitely had on the board that they wanted to shoot. It's so, I think it really adds to the aesthetic and the emotional feel of the music video very well, that I can definitely tell that this was a planned shot. And even that little bit, I think it's also cut in a way where like where they it's a lot of these very cinematic shots, and then the da, 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 and then even including it's up, the dancing shots of them coming in, intercutting between these cinematic shots. I think it gives you a feeling. It gives you a feeling. And so I think on a direct, it definitely moved me, is what I want to say. And so I think on a directing level, it's actually pretty decent. So I think where the issue comes and why the AI was incorporated in general, which I don't think it should have been, but why it was incorporated is, well, there's not much going on in the music video. It's just a lot of, frankly, Mashiro running, chasing this paper plane and this crane. And that's about it, throwing some B-roll of this guy in the library, them exchanging some, not even exchanging, more so Mashiro peeking looks at him. And that's about it, hinting at something. And I understand them going for that. That is not where I think the issue lies. I do feel like they kind of spread themselves a little bit too thin. One, I do think, again, there is a skill issue. I don't like how this was shot, period. I'm not a fan of the filmmaking. I'm not a fan of the cinematography, the camera work. I mean, there is a lot going on. Very specifically, listen, I am not a professional color grader, okay? When it comes to filmmaking, my heart is in directing and writing. But so when I'm pointing out issues with color grading, know that I could not even achieve like the best color grading. That's what professional colorists are for, okay? So let's say they couldn't afford a professional colorist for this. Totally fine, okay? But even I could have color graded this to a little bit more of a consistent level. And where that comes from is, first off, the choice, again, to shoot this across too many different cameras and too many different setups, too many different lighting setups. They have natural lighting, and then they have just like the nighttime. So like they have just straight up harsh lighting. They have the studio lighting here. And then it's not brought together into like a consistent look. So in some of my reactions, I talk about color theory, and I talk about incorporating a consistent color theme. Oftentimes you want to have maybe somewhere between like a 2 to 4 color system. Basically, you really only introduce 3, 4. If you're being really minimal, 2. I think it's really hard to pull that off. But you want to introduce as very little colors as possible so that it's visually consistent and it doesn't look messy for the viewer watching it. And when you're watching this, what are the colors that immediately stand out to you when you watch this? For me, white is the biggest thing. One, because of the color grading. The way they bring up these, the way they bring up like the blacks and the shadows here, immediately the color grading itself is like its own color, which that is a thing. But oftentimes the color theory thing is mainly about the set dressing, mainly about the pieces, the wardrobe, and the outfits. So then white is one of the biggest things because of the uniform that they're wearing, the school sailor uniform outfit, as well as black because of, again, the uniform. And then there's green, which is the nature aspect because they're shooting outside. And then there's the brown of the library music video set that they're shooting in. I don't know what space this is, but I believe Twice actually shot their Death Note series here. Then there's the lockers. Now, okay, the lockers, color-wise, it fits with the black color scheme. The issue then comes with the lighting. So then they introduce blue. They introduce specifically the teal / cyan, as well as purple. And then they have the scene. There's a dance studio that they shoot in, which introduces pink, and they introduce as well. Where are we? Where is it? Another studio with just straight up purple lighting, and it's a little too much. The fact that one of the main color schemes is white, specifically in their outfits, and then let's say the background they're going for here is the hot pink here, okay? But then the colors introduced with the lighting, with like the purple and the cyan, are not consistent with like the color style of this one, as well as then there's the stage that they shoot on. There's like a small little concert stage they shoot on. They use those shots very sparingly, so let me try to find it. It's right here. So they have this stage right here. Then they introduce red, and it is definitely not monochromatic either, like one color, and they're sticking to that, but like different shades of it. It's kind of a little too much all over the place, color-wise. And this is not a music video where I think all the different colors should have been introduced. I know they're trying to give it a splash of color by doing that, but it was not executed well. And so that is one thing that is an issue, I would say. And then there's the actual... okay. If I were to say they tried, okay? I will definitely give them that. Like, there's lighting within the lockers. If you notice, they have small little puck lights or something similar inside the lockers intermittently to give it a red lighting into it, which does offset off the cyan and the teal. That's cool. That's great. It just makes no consistent sense for the rest of this music video. And then let's get into the locker aspect of it too. The locker just scene is just, it feels a little too much out of nowhere. You have a nature scene, them filming outside, them filming inside of like what looked like that dance studio, and then the concert stage also did not make sense. And then a large part of this music video takes place in that library looking place. I can't tell if it's a library or I can't tell if it's a music shop, because they do credit like something music, Hyundai Music or something at the end, and it looks like it's in like a record store. But instead of thinking about the story of the music video, it does feel like this was probably all one location, but we don't know what this location is. It looks like a library, or maybe they're trying to pass it off as a school. The impression that I get is it's either a library or a school, maybe a library within a school. But then they introduce way too many elements, and it feels like they just had one location and they just tried to shoot within that location as much as possible. And mind you, how K-pop music videos often, like let's say format-wise, tend to work is you have a dance scene that you introduce in the first chorus, you have a different dance scene you introduce in the second chorus, and then you have a different dance scene you introduce in the third chorus. And so theoretically, K-pop music videos, why they're definitely different from a lot of Western music videos, is like they have like 3 to 4 different dance sets in a music video. You need the money to back that up. I'm just saying, you need the money and the consistency to back that up. And clearly there was a budgetary issue. And honestly, I would have killed going for a broader idea like that. I would have killed, I would have gone for a much more minimal concept. I think they were trying to fit some kind of standard of like, oh, a K-pop music video should have all of these things, rather than, okay, we only have this limited budget, we only have this amount of time, or whatever. I don't know what the restraints or the constraints for this was. Whatever it was, I think there is a world where, even with, again, I'm not a fan of this color grading, But this color grading could have been an aesthetic if they had kept it consistent. Like it's very desaturated and it's like very extremely pale and it's like a little bit more on the purplish pinkish side of the color grading. But this all could have worked if it was a little bit consistent throughout the music video, which it's not. And they couldn't either because it would look weird on some of those sets. The locker room set, they can't do that on the locker room set. They tried to do it on the pink, the dance set, but like the locker room set it's got way more saturation, right? It looks like two completely different music videos when you bounce between these two shots. And so I would have axed the locker room scene. I would have axed as much of this as possible to create much more of a cohesive video, which definitely demands more creativity from the director. And it definitely demands more creative thinking, but it's definitely possible. I would say like the nature shots, like them, like especially when you look at these outfits, them dancing out in like this green area, like I think even the drone stuff, all of that is like kind of forgivable. The fact that it's like visually consistently not matching necessarily, but then when you like go into a set like this, it's too random. It doesn't. It's suddenly like, yeah, I know they're dressed very like hip. They're dressed very K-pop. It's very kitschy, like this hot pink background, but it doesn't make sense for the aesthetic of this video. It doesn't make sense for the rest of the video. And if it was used, if it made sense within the song, to give like an example of it, when you listen to like M-Mix's Dash visually all has this like very dark, grungy pirate like escaped convict concept that they've got going on, right? And then in that bridge, they have that very beautiful, colorful, bright, shimmery part where they dress a little like this. They've got the hats and the butterfly wings, but the song demands it. But this song is very consistent throughout. And it's got like a very angelic tone, and it's very beautiful, and it has a very lovely, innocent tone to it. And so that's why I also think this school uniform outfit and the concept they were going for works. It's totally fine. I just think that they probably thought, oh, it's too boring if it's just that. And so they wanted to like make it more broad and have more scenes. And I don't think that's what they should have gone for. I don't know why there are multiple scenes. I think it might just be a budget issue. So budget is even the different days, how long you have your crew and such. And so they wanted to shoot out here in this grass area. Makes sense. But here, if you notice, the sun is most likely setting, and that's why you're going to notice that they have like these really harsh key lights on them. And they don't have the budget to have screens to filter out the lights. So the lights, rather than looking soft, have a really harsh tone on them, which, okay, that's a look. But and then here, it also looks like it got even darker. And if you cut to this scene right here, so even this shot of this opening shot right here, it does not look the same, right? It's because there's no lighting on them. They're shooting this completely naturally. And most likely the lights they have are not high powered enough that they can't. So in order for that look to look consistent with when they're shooting it in the daytime, the lights would have to be more powerful, and you would have to crank them up even higher, which are extremely expensive lights, which I assume they did not have. And so they shot at pure daylight. At that point, I would say don't film anymore in the daytime. I would say or not even in the daytime, at this location, the moment that happens, or go commit to the natural light concept. An example would be Zero Base One's Sweat. If you watch the Sweat music video, after the bridge, they're still shooting in the same location, and it's still natural lighting. But in that natural lighting, the sun is setting. The sun is setting, and they're using that to their advantage. The Zero Base One members are obscured in darkness because they're shooting against the sun, but it's an aesthetic. And they keep it consistent with they were going for a kind of like going from daytime to afternoon to evening to dawn sort of a concept. And so it was part of like an aesthetic concept that they were going for. At this point in time, either commit to that, and I think especially with the soundscape of this, it could have worked in some world. I think if you again axe certain parts of the music video, they could have shot into the evening with natural lighting. Maybe the cameras that they have also could not hold up shooting at night, shooting in low light. Honestly, that worries me a little bit because most high fidelity cameras at this point can do that now. Most high fidelity cameras can handle that now. And so does worry me that they had to, I don't know, maybe commit to that. But because the lighting is so jarring, but it's the exact same set, I would have just said, don't shoot at this location anymore. Or don't shoot in natural lighting. If you're going to, like, for the rest of this music video, all the other dance scenes, commit to artificial lighting. Commit to artificial lighting here as well. Nope. Well, the concert stage was artificial lighting. Oh, there we go. Artificial lighting. So the fact that I'm seeing, like, right here, it got even darker. And so basically, it's, again, a budgetary issues. We could only have the crew, or we could only have this location for this one day. We can't book multiple days to get multiple scenes of coverage with consistent natural lighting. So they only had one day, and they basically just chased the sun that way. And I don't know, man. It comes to the lesson of sometimes less is more. And I do think that would have been a very important lesson. And I do think that's why you see in the original cut of the Uno music video, they throw in even the AI scenes of, man, like, this isn't enough. Let's throw in AI to make it seem more splendid. But at some point, whoever was overseeing this, because I don't want to just dump this all on the director at the same time, because, hey, there are producers involved, and then there's the labels involved. It gets really tricky in that situation. And so you don't really know who's at fault here. And I don't know the behind the scenes detail of this, but I can't imagine that a video team or a director or an editor looked at those AI scenes and thought, yeah, this looks good, and just inserted those. It does make me feel like it was somebody else, maybe a producer, or someone from the label, or someone just way above on, like, the company level, who was like, hey, let's spice up this music video by having more elaborate stuff. We don't have the money for that. Okay, then let's just use AI. Was, I feel like, the solution that was why they kind of added into that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for my reaction to MADEIN's Uno music video, the natural version, that is. Honestly, the song is really good. The song, I think, is quite fantastic. I think the song is actually even very ambitious. It is not your traditional K-pop song. I think it's very lovely. It's very romantic. It's the kind of, honestly, the kind of K-pop songs that I wish more K-pop groups would push to make their title tracks. It's songs like that, when executed with the marketing perfectly, that you can really stand out. But the execution part was the problem. I don't think the music was the problem. Definitely the music video was the issue. And so, yeah, as someone who is a Kepler fan and was very much looking forward to Mashiro and Yeso's re-debut, I feel very bad for them, and for the other members that are in this group as well. They definitely deserved better. This song deserved better. So I hope that the comeback gets definitely more love and more money, more care that it so greatly deserves. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning into my reaction to Maiden's Uno, the natural version. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope it didn't come off too negative or critical. Everything I said in this music video was coming from a place of both love for Yeso and Mashiro, love for K-pop, and love for this song in general. And I wanted to see it done better, and I want to see it done better. So I would love to hear your thoughts on the natural version, even without this AI. Guys, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this content, you can go ahead and subscribe over here. You can check out my other reactions over here. And I'll see you guys in another video, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, guys.